spends hours every day scrolling and arguing online. It's like she's living in a different reality. She hasn't held a stable job in about 3 years. She'll take on part-time work but ends up quitting or getting fired after a few months. Meanwhile, I've become the sole provider and have also taken on most of the parenting. Our daughter loves her mom, but my wife often seems distracted or disengaged, and it breaks my heart to see that. Another issue is, she has become more racist over time. It started as an obsessive dislike of a certain celebrity, but it's turned into outright racist comments, particularly toward women of color. She's lost several friendships because of it, and even her family has started to distance themselves. They still check in on me and our daughter, but they've made it clear they don't know how to reach her anymore. I've begged her to try therapy. She actually did for a few months once, and for a little while I saw glimpses of the person she used to be, but she quit, and everything went back to the way it was. I'm emotionally exhausted and worried about the environment our daughter is growing up in. I don't want her picking up these beliefs or thinking this level of disconnection is normal. That said, I'm also terrified of what divorce might do to her. I always believed in trying everything before walking away, and I don't want to feel like I gave up too soon. That's why I'm thinking about asking my wife to go to couples therapy. Maybe she'd be more open to it since it won't be just her. My question is, how do I even bring this up? Would it be wrong to tell her that I'm considering divorce if she refuses? I don't want it to sound like a threat. I just want her to understand how serious things have gotten. I love her and want to believe there's still a way forward, but I can't keep doing this by myself. If anyone has been in a similar situation with a partner who's fallen deep into conspiracies or become resistant to therapy, how did you approach it? I really want to try everything I can before making such a painful decision. Update 1 month later. At first, she started with anti-vax talking points. I had our family doctor talk with her, and she seemed to have gotten over it, but she still brings up vaccines being poison and causing autism occasionally. Around this time, she also began to have an obsessive dislike of a certain celebrity, which slowly morphed into outright racism, particularly towards women of color. She's lost several friendships because of it, and her family began to distance themselves. They still check in on me and our daughter, but they've made it clear they don't know how to reach her anymore. She has started talking about homeschooling our daughter, because the education system is grooming kids and the government is brainwashing children. I've told her our daughter will be going to a normal school and having normal social interactions with kids her age. My wife hasn't held a stable job in about 3 years. She'll take on part-time work but ends up quitting or getting fired after a few months. I've become the sole provider and have also taken on most of the parenting. Our daughter loves her mom, but my wife often seems distracted or disengaged, and it breaks my heart to see that. I've tried to get her off the internet by suggesting we spend more time as a couple, family. For the latest attempt, I got her out of the house to go trick-or-treating. She barely bothered to smile or show enthusiasm for our daughter, but for 3 days after I was treated to her saying nasty things about her celebrity obsession going trick-or-treating with her own kids. She goes on long rants about these things to me so often that I can't recall the last time I had an actual conversation with her. I've been leaning more towards getting a divorce recently, but I am scared that if we have a shared custody arrangement, I wouldn't be able to control what my daughter is exposed to. I'm also terrified that my wife is so distracted when she is online that she may not notice right away if my daughter got hurt or needed her. She once forgot to give her lunch because she was on her phone and yelled at her when she started crying. I've been told this sub has seen a few success stories in getting people back to reality and would appreciate any advice from persons who have been in similar situations. Is my marriage even salvageable anymore? I had some luck with getting our doctor to talk to her about her anti-vax views. I was hopeful that getting a teacher or someone she trusts within the education profession would convince her that homeschooling would not be best for our daughter, and she isn't equipped to homeschool a kid. But who can I get to convince her not to be racist or not to obsess about Meghan Markle online? Are you and your wife divorced now? Taking an internet break. I've tried to get her to take a break. I've even thought of cutting off the phone or internet before, but I want to be able to contact her in case there's an emergency with our daughter. How the Meghan hate started. I think it started for my wife because Harry and Meghan left the royal family around the time COVID lockdowns happened, and there were probably lots of tabloid stuff about them online. Her obsession with Meghan seemed harmless at first, but it turned into a pipeline for more racist beliefs. Bait almost 4 months lateral. Try to keep this update short. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who took the time to comment and message me. Some of you helped me accept a reality I had been avoiding for a long time. My soon-to-be ex-wife was not going to get better, and I had to act to protect my daughter. I also want to specifically thank those who pointed me to the QAnon casualties sub. Reading other family stories and seeing how similar the patterns were was incredibly validating. It helped me understand that this wasn't something I could love or wait my way out of. I took the advice of some commenters and started documenting my ex's neglect of our daughter, her racism and extreme beliefs, and reached out to a divorce lawyer. I checked on our joint bank accounts as advised and discovered that she had been withdrawing large sums of money from a joint account we opened early in our marriage for family vacations, etc., and that we had discussed using to eventually set up a college fund for our daughter when she was born. When I confronted her, she initially denied taking the money. When I demanded she show me where the money went, she went on a long rant about creating a better world. She admitted she had donated money to organizations like TPUSA, claiming they would create better schools and keep kids safe. She had also spent a significant amount on designer handbags, shoes, and clothing that she had hidden from me. The craziest thing is, she was also being scammed by someone she met through some royal gossip subreddit, who claimed to have hired a private investigator to expose Meghan Markle. Apparently, this person would send her negative articles about Meghan Markle and claimed that the private investigator had discovered this information and sent it to the press, and my wife would send more money. She told me all of this as if it were completely reasonable and saw nothing wrong with it. I told her I was filing for divorce, and at first she thought I was joking, but then exploded at me and began throwing things while ranting about me breaking up the family. A glass cup she threw hit me in the head. I left the house bleeding and went to my neighbors, who called the police. She had trashed the kitchen by the time the police showed up, and they arrested her after I explained what happened. I applied for and was granted a domestic violence restraining order, along with temporary custody of my daughter. My wife currently has supervised visitation only. She is facing a misdemeanor criminal charge related to the domestic battery incident, which is being handled in criminal court alongside the ongoing divorce proceedings. She is currently living with a former coworker, and her family has reached out to express support for me and my daughter. I am in the middle of divorce proceedings, and my lawyer believes I have a strong case for sole custody. This isn't how I ever imagined things ending, but I'm grateful I listened to the advice here when I did. My priority now is my daughter's safety, stability, and emotional well-being. Thank you to everyone who helped push me to act.